Sure you win in every market. Your financial partners, Don and Gino.
Welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Every Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. I'm going to mellow out because Gino said enough of the rock star. You need to join us, though, right here in the Vault Media Studio, run by Mr. Furman with AP Productions, running the controls there. We got 3 cameras on us now, and I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's good for you to see what's really happening by going to donandgino.com. Donandgino.com, click and listen to chat live, and you can see that we are all 3 happen to be sharply dressed today.
How about that?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you guys in a tie before.
Hardly ever anymore.
Yeah, we're pretty casual.
But we had new pictures done, our new slimmer selves today.
There you go.
Yeah, we had Ed Olette doing a great job. If you need a good photographer, that guy is a man. He's really, really cool dude, and he can do whatever you want. If you want him to make you thinner, slim down your face, get rid of blemishes, it's the magic of computers these days. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing how fast he could say, "Oh, let me just show you guys," and you're like, "Wow, let's change."
While you're at it.
Yeah. Why did you suffer those hours working out?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And he said that. He goes, "I can make you slimmer if you want." I'm like, "Oh man."
We just spent 6 months doing that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we were touching base on the unemployment numbers being one of the lowest numbers in quite some time. And the lowest number, biggest drop, we dropped from 332,000 unemployment claims all the way down to 300,000. One of the biggest drops in 10 years and the lowest number in 7 years, which could create a trend. But we're going to forewarn you that this doesn't always translate into jobs. For example, you have seen the unemployment number go down, and you guys can chime in anytime here because I know you understand where I'm coming from, is that the unemployment number coming down, a lot of people can take credit for that. A lot of you out there are going, wait, I'm not seeing the jobs. I'm not seeing a ton of new jobs. There are some being created, obviously, but not enough to make up for the glut of jobs lost over time. The reason that number is going down in a larger fashion than what's coming into the market is because of the people leaving the job market. A lot of the baby boomers and those of you out looking for a job are out of the market. They're like, after 4 weeks, they don't count you anymore. Just so you know, after 4 weeks of not looking for a job, they don't even count you.
Well, that's you're talking about unemployment numbers. This is initial claims. So the way I'm seeing this one, because I have been watching this now for a few weeks, I like the trend. I actually think we are building a little bit of a trend.
I agree.
And what I think is really interesting, so this is less layoffs, right? This is not more jobs. This is less layoffs for people that were currently employed. Oh, and Dawn just drew a really nice line on the piece of paper with little spikes there, but overall the trend is your friend. Yep. And it looks good to me. I think that it's going to create jobs going forward, and we'll talk a little bit more, but right now I'm pretty bullish on the economy.
Isn't that a line pointing to inflation?
Actually,
well, yeah, it's funny is that to bring that up, that's a good point because the Fed's goal is to keep inflation as close to 2% as possible. Now that could be lower or higher, meaning right now we're actually been averaging 1% right now.
Well, we don't have an economy.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the reality is,
therefore, who's going to raise prices
well,
until the economy comes back?
Well, the reality is we've been desperately trying to create inflation, right? That's what all these stimulus programs were. Was instruction number 1, avoid deflation.
Exactly.
Instruction number 2, create inflation, because without inflation we don't have GDP growth, and if without GDP growth we don't have consumer confidence. So I think
you mean tax revenues?
Oh, that
too. Same thing, right?
Yeah, that too.
I like how you see the attorneys just picking it apart what's really said between the lines. That's why I'm a firm believer. If you have any issues, talk to an attorney. Don't do it yourself.
Yeah. No, so I do think we're heading in the right direction. I think the things that we've been doing have been working. You're right, tax revenue, because we're spending like crazy. We got to figure out how to pay for it, and I still don't think it's going to be enough.
No, it's scary because anytime I look at the numbers that come out, even though our deficit I guess for March was only $36 billion.
That's all.
Drop in the
which is a small number, as you know, relatively speaking, when you look at it as a percentage of GDP, but it's what's not on being counted.
Right.
The long-term debt, whether it be Medicare and the like, Social Security liabilities. We just don't want to look at those numbers.
It's funny how that works, and just like I mean, even Janet Yellen has backed off the whole, and the Fed backed off that. They had a goal of 6.5%. Once we have to hit 6.5% unemployment, then we'll start raising rates. And boy, when she brought that up a little while ago, man, there was a spike and everybody got a little nervous. They're tending to back off of that little statement now. The verbiage is backing off.
I mean, being the chairman of the Fed has got to be a very difficult job, if only because the way people listen to every word, with precision, as well as what's not said. Because I remember her first report after the monthly meeting, she slipped with something. Yeah, and the market moved.
Well, when Bernanke did that.
Yeah.
Bernanke said...
The first time he said taper.
Taper, yeah.
That's what it was. The first time he ever said
our
taper,
rates went up our rates went up 0.5% in a week.
Wow.
Because of one word. And he actually, it took now 4 months after that to backtrack those. Like, well, I didn't mean... now.
Yeah.
And it really made a difference. You're right. Nobody picks apart, even more than the president. Yeah. I say is what the Fed chairman speaks, everybody listens.
So let's speak to that for a minute, because Jim, you're an attorney, and one of my best friends is an attorney, and I feel like I'm always being picked apart for these precision words. It's actually what you do for a living to a certain extent, is to analyze what people are saying, right?
Right. The verbal and the nonverbal, but if you're dealing with an intelligent person, then they should be using the right words to convey the message.
Oh no. This has just become the Jim Reape show. No, it's a good point. Well, okay, so we've kind of beat up enough. Bottom line is that the Fed's backing off on the whole 6.5% unemployment rate. And she did say something very intelligent this time that we agree on. We have been saying this for a while. And Janet Yellen, I love when they back us up. These people are kind of important people to our economy. Basically stated that even if some of these areas are improving, not all the areas are improving. And therefore, the economy is not going to just jump back into place. It's going to take time. And therefore, we have to give it time before we start take any drastic measures, which made everybody feel a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I think everybody breathed a nice sigh of relief and said, okay, we're not raising rates as fast as we thought we were. We're not going to destroy the momentum we have right now.
Well, it's interesting that she accomplished that and tapering at the same time.
Well, okay, just so you know, here's an enlightening thing for all of you out there going, oh my gosh, they're tapering. There's a reason we can get away with tapering, just so you know, is the fact that there's a lot less mortgage-backed securities even being issued.
Oh, okay.
So as there's a lack of supply.
Lack of supply, because there's a lot less refinances happening, a lot less. We're talking 50% less refinances. Right now, the purchase market, even new home sales, we don't have that big spike that we had last year, so there's less of those. So as a percentage, it actually hasn't affected us. And that's why our interest rates haven't spiked despite the only reason they've spiked at times, Jim, is the fear. When she tapers, everybody goes, what does that mean? What's going to happen? And they go, oh, nothing. I guess we're okay. So as a percentage, it actually hasn't affected us.
Well, but rates are down again. Right?
They're wonderful right now. Did you hear that? Even the attorney's going, hey, rates are down. They are at some of the best levels, Jim, we have seen, I don't know, 6 months?
Yeah, probably
at least
that.
At least.
Jim and I were talking about, once you inflation adjust the rates today, and you also take into consideration the tax benefit of rates today, if you have a mortgage, or if you should have a mortgage right now, it's free money. And I've been saying that for all 3 years.
That's your favorite saying.
It's free money right now. And you discussed arbitrage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you could go ahead and borrow money today at somewhere in the 3s or even in the 4s, your investments should be able to outpace that going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So borrow as much as you can.
There you go. So what we're saying is, with rates at where they're at, there's a couple of things. One, take action now. If you're thinking about buying a home, your first home, your next home, your bigger home, an investment, now is the time, because these rates won't stay and these prices won't stay. We have a lack of inventory, so prices are going to go up. Do not sit back and go, just wait till they come back down. We're still about 20% below the peak. So don't hold your breath on that one. Take advantage of where rates are at now. Home ownership is an amazing thing. And if you have a higher interest rate or mortgage insurance, get rid of it. you've got a thing that we haven't been able to use, a word. What's the word? The E word.
Equity.
Equity. Believe it or not, a few of you have it now, so utilize it. And reach out to us at 855-DON-GINO, 855-DON-GINO. Make sure you reach out to us.
Yeah, you know, one thing, Jim, that, and hopefully you can back me up on this next segment, but the reality that I see is that demographics and the splitting of all these households will continue to create more need for housing than what we have today. And ultimately, I don't think we have enough supply, so there's going to be more demand, and it's just going to drive prices up going forward.
Well, in our next segment, Jim, we're going to talk about how you're helping people
make families.
There you go. And therefore, we need more homes. We're gonna we'll be right back with you in just a few minutes. We're going to talk with Jim Reape of Reape Rickett Law Firm about family formation and how he's helping families out with that. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show, do not go away.